It is 2:06 p.m. We're going to go ahead and get started again. We are on item 4C, which is J. Paul Taylor Academy renewal. And that'll take us first to CSD evaluation. And Ms. Valenzuela, back to you.
Good afternoon, Chair Burt and Commissioners. As you know, I'm Lucy Valenzuela, the Authorizing Administrator for the Charter Schools Division, and I am here to provide the PED evaluation for J. Paul Taylor Academy. J. Paul Taylor was established in 2011 and is approaching its third renewal with the Public Education Commission. The school's mission is to provide a challenging curriculum focused on project-based learning, conversational Spanish, and healthy living. I led the renewal site visit along with my colleagues Yalling Hedrick and Chris Berea on Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. The Charter Schools Division recommends that J. Paul Taylor Academy be renewed with a chartered contract term of 5 years without conditions. This recommendation is based on the record of the school's performance over the course of the contract term, the renewal application, which highlights adult actions and programs in the service of student progress, and verification of those programs and adult actions during our renewal visit and annual visits. And I am very proud to say that for the fourth consecutive year, J. Paul Taylor Academy has been designated a spotlight school through the New Mexico Vistas. The school's proficiencies in all three areas, English language arts, mathematics, and science, are as follows. 58% for ELA, 43% in math, and 60% in science, which are all well above state and district proficiencies. For financial and organizational, although J. Paul Taylor has faced significant challenges in financial processes throughout the contract term, the CSD is confident that the school is actively working to improve in this area. While performance framework ratings might suggest a failing to demonstrate progress, it's important to note that audit findings are often identified late in the subsequent fiscal year, making immediate corrective action difficult. The head administrator has taken full responsibility for past audit issues and is collaborating with a new business manager to ensure cleaner audits in the future. The CSD believes that the school is making substantial progress in this area, and therefore a financial condition for renewal is not deemed necessary. For their ratings overall in Part B, the school met the standard in student outcomes, mission-specific goals, educational program, and equity and identity. They were demonstrated substantial progress in financial compliance, governance responsibilities, and other performance framework indicators. In conclusion, J. Paul Taylor Academy has consistently demonstrated success, and students express genuine enthusiasm for their school, particularly its outstanding food program. This program is exceptional, seamlessly integrated into students' daily learning and overall well-being. During the renewal visit, the commitment to student welfare, we observed students participating in their daily walk around the park located directly across from the school. We look forward to seeing the continued success of J. Paul Taylor on their contract. Once again, the Charter Schools Division recommends that J. Paul Taylor Academy be renewed with a charter contract term of 5 years without conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valenzuela. That'll take us to tribal input. This school was not required to do tribal input, but I will pause for just a moment. And if there's anybody online that is representing in an official capacity, representing a tribe or pueblo that would like to speak on behalf of the tribe or pueblo, I'll pause for just a moment and you can raise your digital hand and we will hear you. All right, seeing none, we'll keep moving. And that'll take us to public comments. Ms. Valenzuela, Ms. Brown?
There is no public comment.
We'll take us to item 4, which is school comments. Mr. Honor.
Madam Chair and members of the commission, I would like to show a video that features a part of our highlight and of our namesake. So I'll let you watch it and hopefully hear it, and we'll go from there. Thank you. So what you're seeing is 2 weeks ago, the grand opening of the Taylor Messia Historic Site. Uh, Mary Daniels Taylor and J. Paul Taylor donated their home after his passing to the state, and they have redone that site so that it's open to the public. And the home itself is absolutely beautiful, and then it's full of tons of Spanish colonial artifacts and artwork. So it is now open. So if you make it your way down south, try to make it in there. I've not seen it since it's reopened and since its passing, but it's really spectacular. So our Baile de Folklorico group, K12, had a chance to dance at that grand opening, which is part of our charter mission for Spanish culture and Spanish language. So I
Before,
thought sharing that would be helpful.
you keep going, can you introduce yourself just for the record?
Thank you. I always forget that part. So with that, I am Eric Honor, the Executive Director of J. Paul Taylor Academy, and I'm joined by one of our board members, Valerie Ratliff Parker, and our business manager, Michaela Vigil, behind me. You bet. So I'm going to read my presentation, which is a little more succinct and probably a little less redundant by doing this. So, Madam Chair and members of the commission, for opening, I'd like to express my gratitude to the recent Charter School Division site visit team, Ms. Valenzuela, Ms. Hedrick, and Mr. Perea. The continued refinement of the performance framework in the site visit process by the Public Education Commission and the Charter School Division has improved the experience. What once felt daunting is now an opportunity to share our progress, collaborate, and discuss new initiatives. This is my fourth charter renewal that I've led, and I feel confident in this statement. The past 5 years have brought significant challenges, from COVID to the instability caused by compromised business practices leading to audit findings. Our community has worked hard to move forward, earning Spotlight designation for 4 consecutive years and establishing more stable business practices with the support of Michaela Vigil and the Vigil Group. I'm also proud of our focused work to improve math proficiency through interventions, high-dose tutoring, HDT, enrolling all 8th graders in Algebra 1. Regrettably, budget reductions and the loss of funding for HDT have forced us to eliminate our math interventionist position in tutoring programs, including HDT. While our math, with a 5% increase in proficiency, science and reading proficiencies exceed district and state averages, it remains far short of where we want it to be and where we all need it to be. More broadly, I believe it has never been more challenging to be an educator. Even with advances in such things as technology, structured literacy, social emotional learning, the day-to-day demand continues to grow. The technical and instructional expertise required to run a school or lead a classroom is substantial. Yet this moment also underscores the importance of strong educators, leaders, governing boards, and of course, authorizers. Commissioners, your work is vital. Our ability to collaborate enables us to innovate and reimagine what education can be, and our students deserve nothing less. Madam Chair and members of the commission, thank you for being partners in our school's journey.
Thank you. You have 29 and a half more minutes.
I'll sing, but again, that might alter the outcome.
Thank you. All right, that'll take us to PEC questions. Commissioner Beck?
Promised I wasn't going to ask a question, but here you go. I saw that your cap is 200 and your enrollment is 200. Is that correct?
That is correct. We have
Are you planning on doing anything about that?
I am.
That's my last question. But you can answer it.
Thank you. Madam Chair and members of the commission, Commissioner Beck, we passed as a board in school raising our enrollment cap to 410. So when we enter the negotiations for the renewal, we will request an increase in enrollment with a desire to increase. We did receive the CSP grant for $1.5 million in this past cycle, and we actually turned it down, and we will reapply for the replication grant, which is a little bit more because we weren't quite ready with where we need to be with the facility, which is that.
I was just going to ask my second question. What's your
every-
facilities cap?
Correct. Our facilities cap is probably 199. It feels that way. The school was custom built for us and for 200 students, and it's a great facility. We are very fortunate to have a facility that was custom built for us, but it was also built to be 200 students and not more. It is owned by Las Cruces Public Schools, who was very generous in doing that, and we're in a straight lease with the district through 2035 in that facility. So our desire to expand enrollment means figuring out what that means. And we are looking at potentially a single site with 400 students or two separate sites of 200 students each, and in the early stages of doing some feasibility studies so we can figure out what course we would like to take with the opportunity to take the 150 to 200 students that we've had on the waiting list.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Look at Commissioner Ingham. He's your guy.
I will revisit with him now that I have a little bit of an idea of where we would like to go. And if anyone has additional funding that you'd like to throw our way, I'm happy to accept. You're welcome.
Commissioner Gibson?
So not only is it unfair that you have those little boys with the fake mustaches and the little hats, but then you applaud us and say, thank you very much, about, cooperating. So you've made this process really unfair. So I'm just putting that out there.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I was actually at a doctor's office not that long ago, and he said, so my kids are on the wait list for J. Paul Taylor. Anything you can do about that? And I was like, no, actually not. So it's, anywhere you go in the area, it's in fact, I had another neighbor who said, my kids go to J. Paul Taylor. Do you know that's a public school? And I said, no kidding. I did not know that. Just people marvel at the experience that their kids, their neighbors' kids, it's really, and it shows. And I've also traveled the other ugly road with the finances. From early on, a former deputy secretary being really It was, he was at the school saying, close this school down right now, So it's been a challenge for the school, but they've never shied away from it. They've always acknowledged what they needed to do, and it's for no fault of trying things that, things sometimes haven't worked out, but they are always on top of what they need to do for their finances. And it certainly does not, it's not at the expense of the instruction of the school that so that's, applause and kudos for that. So it's really a pleasure to have this school in my district.
Madam Chair, may I make a comment to that? Commissioner Gibson, 2 points. Number one, there is something you can do for that family. When our cap increase comes in front of you, you can vote for that. Secondly, you had mentioned a prior Deputy Secretary of Finance who was threatening to close this down. He, in fact, is the individual
Yeah,
who's doing our feasibility study
Yep.
on what growth might look like and financial sustainability. So Paul Aguilar is the individual who I've engaged with their Safe School Plan and continued relationship that really started when we were having a hard time. So it was an opportunity for me to work with him and forge forward in improving our school environment.
yeah, and we actually partner quite often with him.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. And, he was in a different role. It was a different life.
We earned it then,
Yeah,
and we're here now.
Yeah.
Thanks to some hard work
yep.
in your support.
Commissioner Correa?
It's nice to see you again. And I'm very happy to hear Ms. Valenzuela's report and your report on the finances, getting those in order so there doesn't even have to be a
Condition.
thank you, thank you. And I'm very happy to hear you say, because even though you guys, relative to the schools, the districts, the district and the state, relative to them, you're knocking it out of the park, but I'm sure happy to hear you say it's still far short of where we want to be. Because I think, and I see all too often, someone gets in the 40s and they think their work is done.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that means like, if you're 45, that means 55 aren't. So how do we get the rest of these kids up to where they need to be? And so I appreciate your saying that very much and looking to that as your goal. I don't even need to, I mean, I'm curious, what are some of the strategies that you may have to move the needle even more relative to the area?
Madam Chair and Commissioner Carrillo, number one is get our finances back in place so that I can get our math interventionists back in the building. That was a hard hit and very unexpected. The HDT program was a state initiative, and it was very last minute that got pulled. And all of those 2 items in particular, and some math tutoring programs in the summer, along with launching Algebra 1 as 8th grade for all 8th graders. It was slow moving the needle, but we have seen the math gains statistically relevant, and we have to get back to that practice and keep chipping forward. I always feel like it's a dance with bringing forward better instruction around structured literacy. And I think sometimes what we want to do as a school is not perfectly aligned to how the state wants us to do it. Nonetheless, I do think that the state initiatives have helped reading programs across the state. I am proud of our school community's ability to do well in comparison with proficiency. And when I look back to what happened during COVID, it was painful. It still is painful. And what we've seen is changes across the board that are still impacting us today. So I think kind of digging in as deep as we can, knowing that we have lots of partners through PCS&M, other charter schools, CSD, and the PEC, I think is going to become even more important, because I think there are going to be more fights or collaborative work that we need to do with our legislators. I sure would like to see us tap into the permanent funds to bring more funding into education. We didn't see the 7% increase in our building, which led to some pretty significant cuts And those cuts, they're costing us this year. And I fear that those cuts are gonna, they're gonna affect our students. They're gonna affect proficiency rates. We can't take people out of the building and expect more, not logically. So there's work ahead of us. I don't have a clear answer, and I apologize for that.
You don't have to have a clear answer. You have to have a vision, and you have that. And not necessarily in this legislature, but in the next one, we can just have you in the roundhouse with us as we argue for more funding for, well, public education in general, you know? So thank you very much. I'm not looking at this. Food and transportation, do you have food on campus?
We do. We've had a food program for over 10 years in the building, our own food service manager in the building, which is absolutely fantastic. And I've always boasted that most of our cooking has been scratch cooking. The state finally has caught up with what we've been doing for a while. So I'm also proud to say that we've worked really hard to have a lot of fresh made from scratch food in the building. Transportation plan was part of my application for the CSD grant. That's a really great opportunity to step into transportation because the startup cost is so rigid without support from the state to start a transportation plan. So that's in the works with the prospect of growing enrollment.
I'm sure we'll try again. They didn't really step up in the last legislature, but the New Mexico School Boards Association, we were going to partner together in this last legislature, and at the last minute, they didn't do anything. And we just found ourselves being the only ones really arguing on the transportation side. So that's something else we can work on in the legislature for 2027. Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the work you do.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ingham?
Yeah, your funding cuts, were they due to the House Bill 63?
Madam Chair and Commissioner Ingham, if that is the at-risk index, yes.
Yes.
We had a projected cut of about $50,000. It was actually a little over $150,000. In the positions that we have decreased or left is our part-time math interventionist who actually came up to work here in Albuquerque because she was moving, so I didn't fill the position. A reduction in our social work services. Currently I don't have a co-administrator, which is coming at a price also. So those are three significant cuts to our community as a result of that funding and some other shifts in funding that were a little bit unexpected. Increase insurances, 4% across the board for staff employees, which is great, but much less than 7% increase to our overall income to fill that deficit.
They did. That discussion was had yesterday at the LEFC, and there was at least some, I mean, I think there's some movement, who knows? But we'll have to see how that, I just wanted to make sure that I had a feeling that was where it came from. Thank you.
I only have one question later, but mostly I just want to say thank you for making my job very easy today with this. And I'm very happy to really promote charter autonomy by saying thank you. And yes, keep going, keep figuring it out, keep improving, keep going. Like that's how I feel. The one thing, well, and it's maybe not a question as much as a challenge. When you come up for contract renewal and you're negotiating your mission goals, I would love to see an increase in rigor for the mission goals because y'all are just meeting them. I mean, 100% every time, too easy. So I'd love to see mission goals that are equitable to like your vision and mindset and demeanor towards the school. So that's the only thing I saw. So I was like, oh, those mission goals are way too easy for them. Otherwise, I mean, what an incredible school. It's amazing to know the not just the kids that are getting it, but like it elevates the community as well when a school performs like that. And I hope every school we can see data like that, like always that much above the district and state level. I'd love every single one of our charters to have incredible outcomes the way your school does. So I have zero qualms just renewing with no conditions. And y'all keep doing your thing. That's what I think. So I'm very grateful and really exciting to have a school like this to oversee, because what a pleasure.
Are we ready?
Ready?
So I move that the Public Education Commission approve the renewal application for J. Paul Taylor Academy for 5-year term, 2026 to 2031. Without conditions, sorry.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Gibson, a second by Commissioner Beck. Any discussion on the motion itself? Seeing none, if you could call roll, please.
Commissioner Carrillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Manus,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Krosicilich,
Yes.
Commissioner Beck,
Yes.
Commissioner Obenshain,
Yes.
Secretary Ingham says yes. Vice Chair Gibson,
Yes.
Chair Burt,
Yes.
a unanimous 9-0 vote.
Thank you. All right, we are in recess.